How's it, everybody? Welcome back to the Nomasburg region. Sanctum Gamer here. It is the 11th episode and it's been a while since we've been in Nomasburg. I'm glad to be back at it. I've thoroughly missed building in the city, the green project, the chilled vibes. So I am certainly looking forward to expanding this town out. Now, if you might recall from the last set of episodes of Nomasburg, I mentioned that I wanted to have two big towns on this map, this being one of them. So this town is basically going to be the export, should I call it exports? The export town. So it's going to have a harbor. It's going to be quite fishy. So there's going to be quite a bit of fish industry here. And these rail lines that you see are kind of the foundation for a bit of a rail yard that we'll have here. But the plan is that the main rail yard, the really big one, will be in the other town, which will be on the map, and that other town will be bigger than this town. But from a harbor point of view, this town is going to have a bit of a big harbor, just for exporting all the produce of the region. What I wanted to do also was to connect this town up to the rest of the region. Now, right now, I don't have a lot of public transport, taking place. So I put down this intercity bus hub as well as this train station. In the future, this train station will act as a local train station. So it will connect this town to the other big town that we're going to build. But for now, I've connected it up to the international line just so that we can start getting people coming in via the trains, people coming in via the intercity bus or intercity buses, just so that we have some life going on here. This Tesco building that I placed down brings in a lot of freight traffic. You can see how many trucks just keep coming to deliver goods. Like, I find it amazing. I can't believe how many things this one building can store. Now, that's actually quite frustrating because between the previous camera angle and this one, a whole week had actually passed. So after I built the bus hub and the train station area, I wasn't feeling very motivated or very inspired. So I kind of took a break. For those of you that have been following me, I put together maps and so on. So when I came back to this, I didn't actually check what I had built before. So I had forgotten that I had put down the Tesco building across the road. So what do? I put down another Tesco building right here. So now I get a ton of trucks coming into this area to deliver goods to both of these Tesco buildings. So of course, one had to go. So I decided to remove the Tesco building on the other side of the road, the one to the top right. But I do that off camera. I do that like even much later on. It still remains in the cinematics because I only realized it very late on and there was no way I was going to redo this build. I had already spent way too much time on it. So I'm going to remove that first Tesco at some point. And then that actually helps reduce a lot of the truck traffic in and around this place, like a lot. I want a lot of trucks here because since this is the export hub, I expect a lot of trucks to come from the farmland, bringing in all the goods and stuff to be exported. But having so many shops here, I think that just got out of hand. Anyway, about what I'm actually building here. So this is kind of the downtown of this town. So this is the main place where all the shops are. And across the road from here, I don't plan on having too many shops. I wanted them to be concentrated around this public transport area where the train station is, where the bus hub is. So a lot of people will come here to do a lot of their shopping. I wanted to put a lot of cafes as well so that, you can just chill, relax, eat some food, drink some drinks or whatever tickles your fancy before you head off. And then I also wanted a few modernish apartments here. So move away from the small houses that we have been building up until this point and just have a couple of apartments. So we will build a few apartments. We will kind of extend it out around the roundabout here. Oh, another thing is I also wanted the bike lanes. A lot of my projects don't have bike lanes simply because I'm not very clued up on how the bike infrastructure and stuff works, but I wanted to have bike lanes here as much as possible, and that's why I've got those bike lanes there. I've got these trees lining it as a way of protecting the bikers. If not for all the limits in the game, I'll probably have put bollards all the way along it, but I don't really want to run into a prop limit anytime soon. Okay, so for now we'll just build out these apartments, and then I'll come back in and talk about a school that we'll be building just before we get into the old town. So before building the school, I had wanted to put something else here. I had wanted to continue the apartment blocks all over this area. And that's why I put this KFC and this extra cafes down to the bottom right there. But the apartments just didn't quite fit in. I thought the blend from the apartments to Old Town just would not have worked. So I wanted to put something else here, and I realized that this town doesn't have any education. So I figured I would put a school down. But because it was such an afterthought, there was no space around the school to actually have fields. So I kind of figured I would do something similar to basically what my own school was growing up, where our sports grounds actually sat across a national road from where the school itself was. So we would have to actually walk quite a bit of a distance to get to the sports field every single time. So I thought I would do the same thing here, have all the school buildings and everything sort of concentrated in this block just to satisfy the education need. And then I'll put a sports ground on the other side of the avenue that I built at the beginning of the episode. So we'll probably only get to the sports fields around about episode 13 or 14, somewhere around there. It's when I see myself working on the area that I want to put the sports field. But at least for now, we've got education in place, because the education level was kind of low. So this kind of gave me a chance to address that a bit and get my citizens at least a bit educated. And here, this is where we start working on the old town. Now, I don't know anything about old towns. My best guess and what I could find is that it's just an area of a given city that is sort of historical, where historical buildings have been preserved. And yeah, basically wanted to get that kind of vibe. And I thought the base, or this area at the base of the castle that we built, the castle is just off to the left there of the screen, would be a perfect fit for it. And for whatever reason, you know, these set of buildings were preserved and maintained in their original state. Now, when I wanted to build an old town, I kind of did a bit of Googling. Not too much, to be honest. I just Googled old town I searched for Google. No, man, what am I saying? I searched for old town in Google, and the first that came up was old town in Stockholm. So I had a look at it, and the biggest thing that I noticed was the narrow roads and how the buildings basically were, I suppose, oldish looking. So I jumped on the workshop, typed in old town, and I found these awesome Renaissance assets. And I thought they were a perfect fit for what I wanted to do. So I got them. Clipping them together was probably the biggest challenge for me. Accepting that, you know, there are some buildings that are taller than others, and as a result you have this white wall face that just sticks out. That took a bit of getting used to, but once I got used to it, started clipping things together, and I thought it turned out quite nice. So in my mind, this old town is some kind of what's the term? It's been preserved within this town, right? The rest of the town has moved on from this type of architecture. But for whatever reason, these specific buildings were preserved and maintained in their original state, but a lot of them have now been converted to shops, cafes, museums, that kind of stuff. That's why I have a lot of cafes in the back of the buildings. From what I could see, most old towns don't even have this amount of space in the background. Maybe I just didn't see enough of them. But I kind of figured with this one, because a lot of them have become these cafes, these shops, these museums, it will make sense to have places where the incoming tourist would sit, relax, have a bite or two to eat, because they would be doing a lot of walking in and around all of these places. To the far right, so where this wall is, you get that road that's going through there. I actually put parking space there as a place where visitors would park and walk into the actual old town. So only people that work here, people that might still live here, were allowed to come in with their cars, and they have the advantage of off-street parking or street parking, whatever the term is. So I did my best to clip these buildings together. I thought these are very wonderful assets. They kind of captured the vibe very nicely. So yeah, that's my take on the old town. Now in my mind, like I was saying, there's some kind of story behind this place. There's a reason why these buildings were preserved, right? So I would love to see what stories people can come up with. And if we can get a pretty good story for this place, even if we can get a unique name for it, I think that would be pretty cool. So at the time of this video going live, I am going to open up the name suggestions channel on my Discord server. Jump on there, drop a story for this old town, drop a name for this old town if old towns are known to have names. And in the next episode, or maybe the one after, depending upon, I suppose, when I finish the editing, we'll present what the best story is, or what my favorite story is, what the name of this place would be, and a shout out to the person that gave the story. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Put in lots of marketplaces all around. I want to put a church down as well, because there are like churches everywhere, or it looks like there are churches in all these old towns. So I thought I would put a church down as well. But right in front of it is just a big marketplace, just so that tourists can buy souvenirs, grab a few things to just remember this place by. Okay, so that's it. That's my take on an old town. Let me know what you think. If you liked it, if you thought it was cool, give me a thumbs up and leave your comments in the... Wait, what? Yeah, leave your comments below of what you think, suggestions and stuff. I really appreciate it. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Next episode, we will continue the expansion of the town towards the river. Okay, I will see you in the next one. I suppose it's weird doing commentary again. I need to get back into it. But yeah, I hope I will find my tongue again come the next episode. Alright, thank you everybody for watching, and I will catch you all in the next one. Okay, cheers everybody.